But here's the thing. Who you are and what you create in this life is totally reliant upon what you generate from the Temple of One. There's nothing that it needs from outside of itself to do what it's here to do. Now, as you know, we have friends, we have lovers, we have family, we have allies, all beautiful and good. And when you begin to shine that light and begin to create what's in your heart to create, one of them will be who you are, one of them will be how you live, one of them will be the work that you do. It is an offering to the world. One of them will be how you live joyfully. But do you understand that what happens only has a power over that if you tie yourself to what happens as having more power than you have within yourself, or that you rely on someone else to believe in yourself and what you have to give the world. If your belief in yourself relies on another person, what are you going to do when they say, "I don't believe in you anymore"? I'm melting, I'm melting. Who would have thought a little girl like you could destroy me and all my wickedness? The power of who you are cannot rely on another person. It's great to find allies and friends and people who you know how you have their loyalty and 100% support. But remember one thing, they also have to live for themselves and what's in their heart. We support each other along the way and we share a life, but we don't take over anyone's life. Therefore, your whole life cannot rely on anyone outside of yourself. And what you create, and know that it's generated from the Temple of One, will be much more powerful when you bring your focus to that as the sole requirement and concentration for you to be able to enhance your experience and expression of life. Outside of this temple is your psychology. Do you know psych means soul? It's like the persona that shines this light into life. It's filled up with thoughts and feelings and a sense of identity. But did you know that you're not your thoughts? You just have them. And that you're not your emotions, you just have them. And that you're not your identity, you just create that along with everyone else, and the more you believe in it, the more solid it is. But when you realize that it's always moving and changing, and you yourself can move and change it, you realize what great freedom there is in human beingness. Otherwise, what happens to you imprints on your psychology, and you can carry that with you as a burden in a place where you're no longer able to express what's within you, because you're now focusing on believing that thing that happened and what it caused you to believe about yourself. Have you met anyone like this? I'm a loser. Why are you a loser? Well, I was 10 years old. I ran this race and I came in last. All the kids laughed at me and said, "Loser!" That's when I knew I was a loser. I'm still a loser. I'm always going to be a loser. Now, I kid the losers, okay? I have compassion for this. I don't mean to mock it. But the point is I myself have had that. I thought I was an abused and abandoned child and that I could never do anything. It wasn't until I found out that I have a story, but I am not my story. Different. And if I have a story, and that part of the story is already written, I don't have to relive that story today. I can start writing the story because my outer self is just a story. Question is, what do I want that story to be? As I say, every life is a pebble thrown into the pond of life. If you prefer to think bigger, the lake of life. And it's going to cause ripples. But you get to decide what will those ripples be. When you go into the Temple of One, you'll find that there's a pre-existent state of happiness. Pre-existent, existent, and post-existent. Only disturbed by the intrusion of your psychological self and the way it distracts you into believing whatever's happening, your reaction to it, etc. By the way, this happens to all of us. So to center yourself in your being and to feel happy without a cause is a practice like surfing. You find your center and you try and ride the wave and meet it and adjust to it. In the beginning, you get wiped out a lot. As you get really better, you get wiped out less. There is no surfer that doesn't fall off their surfboard. But towards the end of your life, you can ride longer. And so therefore, you take more joy in being a surfer. If you never practice and just say surfing sucks and I fell off once, so that just shows that you can't do it, then you're going to have a lot less joy as a surfer. Point number 2, be like a gardener. Just tend to your garden. And over the years, you get a sweeter and sweeter harvest. So practicing to center yourself within the Temple of One. Now here's a saying that I find to be profound. And I'm going to tell you in exactly 10 years from this date, mark your calendars. What is it? It's 9/29, 2019. So on 9/29/2029, I'm going to tell you this thing. Oh, what the hell? I'm feeling generous. I'm just going to tell you now. Life is so unpredictable. Who knows what's going to be happening in 2029? I'm hoping to be able to visit the grand opening of La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, Spain. We'll have to pray that they get it done in time. But here's what I find to be very profound. Bliss is not the goal of life, but bliss is the foundational condition for the flowering of the fullness of your human potential.